Welcome to tutorials for the English EOC exam. This is a chart that explains how the English EOC exams are weighted. As you can see, the reading and writing sections of the exam are weighted equally at 50% each. Within the reading section, 30% of your overall score will come from the multiple choice section. This is the section of the test where you will be given new passages to read, including selections from fiction, nonfiction, drama, and poetry. You will then be tested over your understanding of these selections. For example, you will answer questions about theme, author's purpose, tone, the use of figurative language, vocabulary, and inferencing. Typically, you will be given 4 different reading selections along with 28 multiple choice questions. Additionally, 20% of your overall score will come from 2 short answer responses. One of these short answer responses will cover a single reading selection. The other short answer response will cover 2 reading selections that are thematically linked. Then, within the writing section of the exam, 24% of your overall score will come from the multiple choice section. This is the section of the test where you will be given shorter reading passages which contain numerous structural and grammatical errors. Your ability to revise and edit these passages will be tested in this section. Typically, you will be given 4 different editing revising passages along with 22 multiple choice questions. Furthermore, 26% of your overall score will come from your composition. If you are taking the English 1 EOC, your composition will be expository. If you are taking the English 2 EOC, your composition will be persuasive. If you are testing during the summer or fall, this will be the extent of your exam. However, if you are testing during the spring, you will also be given field test items. These items are additional multiple choice questions, essays, and short answers that the state is testing. These field test items will not impact your score. However, you will not be aware of which items are part of your actual test and which items are field test items. You will need to be aware that these extra field test items will be present on your exam so that you are not surprised when you see extra reading selections and editing revising passages, multiple choice questions, an additional short answer, and an additional composition. There is no way of knowing which parts of the test are field test items, so it is important for you to do your best on the entire test. Treat the entire test as if it counts towards your score, because you never know which items will count and which ones will not. You will be given 5 hours to take this exam, unless you have an accommodation that allows you to have extra time. You will be able to take short breaks during the exam to use the restroom or to go get water, but remember that your testing time does not stop. Many students take all 5 hours for this test, so be aware of the clock as you are testing. When you complete the reading portion of the test, you will be provided with a variety of reading passages from several different genres, including fiction, nonfiction, drama, and poetry. Some of these reading selections will be thematically linked together. In other words, a poem might be paired with a nonfiction passage if the themes presented in each selection are similar. When reading a nonfiction text, you might be questioned about the author's purpose or motivation for including a detail. These types of questions are usually very specific and might include questions like, in paragraph 2, the author quotes Susan Jones to show that, or, why does the author end the article with a quotation? Or, in paragraph 7, why does the author refer to saving resources and conserving energy? Each of these questions asks you to reflect on why the author did something specific to his or her nonfiction text. In order to successfully answer these questions, you will need to read the passage in its entirety. Then you will need to go back to the specific paragraph or sentence mentioned in the question in order to focus on the particular detail that is being examined. Other questions you are likely to encounter when reading a nonfiction selection include questions about the graphics that go with the text. When images such as pictures or photographs with captions are included, questions might focus on why the image and caption was included with the text. Examples of these types of questions include, an image of the Google homepage is included primarily to, Or, what is one purpose of the caption accompanying the photograph of the code talkers? Other times, a table with basic data or information might be included, and you will be questioned about what you can learn from the content of the table. A question like this might be, from information included in the table, the reader can learn. The best way to go about answering these questions is to read the passage in its entirety and then examine any graphics that go along with the text. It's important to remember that if a graphic also contains words of some sort, whether it's a caption or a table with information, the words are included for a reason, and they should be read. The words that are paired with the graphic will help you better understand the point of the graphic or the information that is being communicated. When reading a fiction text, including either a short story or an excerpt from a longer text, such as a novel, you might be questioned on a variety of literary concepts, including theme, setting, character development and motivation, irony, allusions, and figurative language, such as metaphors, similes, imagery, and personification. Additionally, you will be tested on your ability to make inferences while reading a text. When you make an inference, you are drawing a logical conclusion based on the information that you're given. Inferencing is something that you do subconsciously while reading without even realizing it. You use your prior knowledge and experiences and common sense to draw these conclusions. For example, if you read that a man is standing in the doorway and his fists are clenched and he is turning bright red while he begins to breathe heavily while staring down at someone, you could infer that he is angry. You don't need to be told that he is angry because you're a smart person with good common sense. You've probably even seen someone turn red, clench their fists, and breathe heavily while he or she becomes angry. You have the prior knowledge necessary to draw the most logical conclusion, which means you've made an inference. When reading a poem, the questions that are most likely to be on the test will focus on theme, symbols, and figurative language. Questions about figurative language will not necessarily ask you to identify the figurative language that is present in the poem, but rather to look at its purpose or the effect that it has. It will be important for you to be familiar with metaphors, similes, imagery, and personification in order to correctly answer these questions. When reading an excerpt from a drama, the questions asked are likely to be similar to the questions paired with a fiction text. However, the stage directions are a unique feature of dramas and therefore are likely to be tested. You can typically locate stage directions quickly because they are likely to be italicized and in brackets. Stage directions indicate stage actions, movements of the characters, or production requirements. These directions might tell the actor or actress how to speak a line, where to move, or how quickly to move. Therefore, they give you, as the reader, clues about the character's feelings and the atmosphere of the scene. Carefully examining the stage directions will help you better understand the excerpt. Now, there are some concepts that will be questioned regardless of the genre of the text. For example, vocabulary, summary, and tone can be examined in any text. When you are asked about vocabulary, it is likely to be a question about a word's definition based on how the word is used in the text. Or it might be a question about the effect of a particular word. Either way, it is important to reread the sentence or paragraph containing the vocabulary word and to use a dictionary as needed to help you answer the question. If the question is about summary, typically you will be asked which answer choice is the best summary of the selection or even of a particular paragraph. These answer choices will be long, and therefore selecting the best summary will be a tedious process. Remember to look for a summary which covers all the major concepts of the text, without focusing too much on insignificant details. Additionally, tone questions will examine the author's attitude toward his or her subject matter. It is important to remember that tone refers to how the author feels, which is largely communicated through word choice.